Hi, Mark here. Now I'm going to give you some transition fills to use with the circuit exercise and also in general Latin playing. These fills work really well, and most of these are in 2-3 clave, but I'll give you something in 3-2 as well. So let's look at the first one. Suppose you're playing cascara and you're going into the bell pattern. One of the common figures would be this figure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bop, 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 bang. Okay? So the way to orchestrate these figures, you can do this several ways. You can play on the floor tom and the snare. Either snares on or snares off, it doesn't matter. That sounds good. So I'll demonstrate that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another way of orchestrating this figure, and this is one that I like a lot, to get the sound of a percussion section, if you don't have a percussion section, play the small tom and the cowbell at the same time. So this is what the figure would sound like. Okay, let's check it out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so another one that works really well, coming from the cowbell to the cascara, going down, would be the second lick. 1, 2, 3, 4, bop, 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 bop. Okay, so again, if we use our floor tom and snare combination, this time I'll turn the snares on, see what that sounds like. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's do the same thing and play the small tom and the cowbell on the break. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it sounds good after a break like that has a lot of impact to leave a little space and then sneak in afterwards. It really has a nice effect because the music keeps going even if you're not playing. And if the music is still swinging when you stop playing, then you know you're doing something right. Okay, in one of the previous lessons, I described the punch, the ponche, which happens on beat 4 on the 3 side of the clave. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, pop, a punch. Now, if you add a note to that, you come up with a very common timbale lick. Something like 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so you have these two notes. You have the punch and you have something before it. So I like to call this jab cross. Bakum! Okay? So this works going to the bell and coming from the bell to the cascara. So I'll demonstrate it both ways. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, it's a very effective 2-note lick. Sometimes we play breaks and we wait and then we play another break right after that. One of the most common ones that I've used a lot with Paquito de Rivera is a break of 2/8 notes at the end of the 3 side, wait a bar, wait another bar, and hit beat 4 on the 3 side of the clave. Now this is coming out of something very intense and breaking down into something that's a lot softer. So if you're coming from a trumpet solo into a piano solo, then this is a good way to transition into it. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, when you hear it in the context of the music, it really makes sense. You can also use what I call a ramp up fill. Basically 8 notes on the 3 side of the clave, resolving on beat 4, right before you go to the cowbell. So I like to play this with the snare and the floor tom. I think it sounds best. It's kind of similar to Ringo Starr's fill in the song Help by the Beatles. Ever hear the Beatles? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so whichever direction you're going in, you need something to get you there. So this ramp-up fill is very good for that. You can also, of course, use it on the tom and the cowbell. I'll demonstrate. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, there are some longer breaks that sound really good, and these are very common breaks that pretty much every percussionist would know. And I'm reminded that the second one of these has saved many a concert, because sometimes I'm playing with a percussionist, and in the arrangement they give us an open percussion and drum solo, and we're looking at each other like, okay, how are we going to get out of this? And one of us goes into a certain break, and the other just picks up on it because we both know the break. So after we play the break in perfect unison, everybody's cheering. We look at each other. Yeah, we meant to do that. But inside we're thinking, wow, okay, we just saved the whole gig. So here are 2 of those kind of breaks that could save the whole gig. One is from Tito Puente. This is the break from a great track from a wonderful record. The record is called it's called Top Percussion. There's another called Puente and Percussion that's equally great. It's all percussion and bass. And one of the breaks they do is from something called Monti. They named all the tunes after the players that were playing with them. So Mon is Mongo Santa Maria, and T is, of course, Tito Puente. So the Monti break is a 4-bar break. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time, slowly. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're coming out of a solo, or if you're coming out of an intense section, or even if you want to ramp up into a section, that's a great break to use. So I'll play cascara, then I'll play that break and go into the bell pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, really effective, and pretty much every Latin percussionist knows that break. So learn that, use it once in a while, and I think you'll have a lot of success with that. Another break more triplet bass break, but it sounds great. Here it is slowly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Boom. See, it resolves with the clave. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is do the opposite of what I just did. So I'm going to start on the bell. I'm going to play that break, and then I'm going to come back down to the cascara. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.